It's September 15th, year of our Lord 2021. Alabama wants weed sooner. Deep South Rodeo fish breaks state record. And we're talking barbecue.
Yeah, buddy. And the best barbecue.
Here we go. Welcome to the Alabama Aristocrats, a weekly conversational podcast from the South about the South. I'm your host, Van Rudolph, and with me is my very best friend and devout Southerner, Zach Duggar.
Peasants, derelicts, and ne'er-do-wells, drag yourself from the gutter and join us here every week for the very best in Southern tales, history, anecdotes, and idioms.
We have 3 Belgium followers.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's pretty cool, right? Like
shout out Belgium.
Shout out Belgium.
Appreciate y'all.
You know what, Belgium? Tell your buds.
Educate Belgium more about the southeastern United States.
Hell yeah. Elevate you down some.
Join the aristocracy.
Join the aristocracy. Please don't forget Operation Barbecue Relief. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook. They're doing some really cool stuff. Flying in barbecue every day, meats and cheeses, and they're feeding folks. Operation Barbecue Relief, OBR.org. And don't forget our friends at Public Pursuit. Interestingly enough, I got a little snapshot sent the other day of the forthcoming cigar drill. First draft.
Yes.
Looks pretty badass. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. Cool.
Y'all keep an eye out for that right there.
Public Pursuit. At Public Pursuit and at thepublicpursuit.com. Southern news. Okay, so South Alabama, Deep Sea Rodeo, been a thing forever. What the? This guy? For real?
So in July, Kyle Davis topped the leaderboard with a
cow
with a 22.24 pound bonito, a species also known as little toonie.
Bonito or bonita?
Bonita, what we say, but bonito is how it's spelled.
You shitting me? I've had this wrong my entire life.
Bonito is the spelling of this.
It is a bonito. We have said bonita.
Bonita.
Well, I'll be dead.
Bonita. Yep.
Onward.
So he caught a 22.24 pound bonita. And he did this. I didn't realize that was a record breaking fish.
Who would?
He didn't either.
We're not English.
Apparently, Kyle had no idea that it was going to be a record-breaking fish himself.
The hell, Cal?
But when I got to reading the story, this man, grown-ass man, too, might I add. I mean...
He hefty?
No. It has nothing. I have no idea about his physical size. He may be smaller than I am.
Oh, okay. You tiny.
Which would be a very tiny person.
Sure.
But he's got some big old brass balls because he took a 21-foot single-engine boat 74 miles offshore to catch fish in the rodeo.
I mean...
And that... Oh, my God.
The fug.
That is...
What are you... First of all, I don't want to go much farther than like... Hell, 3 miles is basically the cutoff. It's like, look, we've only got one engine. Let's stay pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't want to be...
I can't remember the rule of thumb about how many engines and how far, but I know 74 miles with one, there's nobody that would recommend that.
That's a long way.
That's a pretty good ways out there. He said he doesn't normally go more than 50 to 60 miles in his boat, but
okay, good.
He likes going to pelagic waters to catch tuna.
Hey man, do you damn thing. And was it at least a center console?
It's a center console. Apparently, his center console holds 80 gallons and it gets 2.9 miles per gallon.
Nautical or no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, who knows? He brings 30 extra gallons inside the console just in case, you know. Sure. And when I go out that far, Kyle says, I tell my family that I know where Louisiana is and it's closer than Dauphin Island, so I'll call them when I get to the Mississippi River.
Dude,
this is a grown-ass man right here.
Cojones.
I don't know him, but I want to know him. Like, I want to buy him a beer because it's a bad.
Yeah, I feel like, we've done some cool shit. This guy's pretty legit. I mean, wow.
I've never, like, the furthest I've ever been offshore is 60 roughish miles, and I was on a 50 some odd foot Viking.
Yeah.
And
hell, I'm uncomfortable when they start capping 4 or 5s. Right. I'm like, all right, that's about enough for me.
Seriously, on a 50-foot boat.
Yeah. He's out here in a dinghy.
But apparently,
with your thingy.
Not apparently, obviously, I'm a candy ass, and this man's out to catch him some damn fish. Hats off to you, Kyle. Yeah, but no, he did. He caught a 22.2 pound bonita. He weighed it and broke a record set from 1956.
Lord have mercy, out in this little bitty ass boat. I gotta think when he rolled up and everybody's like, just you by yourself. You brought this in.
And that's the way it looks. Like, it doesn't, like, he doesn't act like there was anybody with him. Like, he had some buddies. It's just there's one guy in a picture with the fish.
We got any idea how old this fella is?
He looks about our age.
Oh, really?
He looks about, there's a picture of him here. I don't know. I haven't like Facebook stalked him or anything,
sure.
But I mean, just from his physical appearance, I'd say, he's a 220
you got a 220
pound guy, age, about roughly our age.
Cool.
And obviously a
all-American badass.
Yep, there you go.
God damn it, I'm going fishing. Y'all can come if you want. If you don't, that's fine too.
Man likes to fish.
He gonna go fishing. Actually, I don't get it because I hate fishing, because every time I go out, by the time lines are untangled, I'm out of beer and I'm frustrated. I don't want to do this anymore. And
I love it. I don't.
Offshore is I don't like bass fishing because I'm terrible at it. And I don't understand how, like, I'm watching you. You're doing the same thing as me. Why are you able to do this better than me?
Yeah.
I know idiots that catch bass fish and are anglers. And I can't. It's frustrating and I don't like it.
Yeah. It's not something I understand very well. I'm thankful for them because
all I take them some bitches.
Those guys spend a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
But
it ain't a hobby for a poor man, that's for sure.
No, sir. Not at all.
Speaking of Alabama, Southern news, Alabama. We're going to start calling this Alabama news. Jesus Christ. Alabama news. The Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission has said they want to put plants in the ground next year. When was legislation passed in May that set up a 14-member commission, which when you get that many bureaucrats together, you're always going to have something good. But these 14 individuals overseeing an agency that will license and regulate cultivators, processors, secure transporters, testing labs, and dispensaries of medical marijuana products. It will be a seed-to-sale intrastate program. You know what? Not to talk shit about Alabama, thank you for at least recognizing that this is a huge part of the medical field.
Yeah, I mean, we're a lot further in this than I thought we'd be.
There was some that said about we were only like the 23rd state or some shit to go legal for medical. I don't know. I was surprised.
Deeply.
But that's a good start. The thing that I'm loving is Commission Vice Chair Rex Vaughn, a Madison County farmer,
know him,
wants plants in cultivation in 2022. So the horseshit bill currently is set up so that they can't even start putting plants in the ground till like September of 2022.
So the growing season's over.
So they're like, all right, well, you got to build your houses and stuff, but you can't start building your houses till there's all these rules naturally. I know y'all aren't in session, so let's bring your overpaid asses up in here and let's get back to work and get this done. Congrats. I hope that Rex Vaughn makes this happen. That's badass.
Yeah, I like Rex. I actually know the guy. Met him back in the my early days of working on a cotton farm. Met him out around Jeff Ginn Company. He's pretty cool guy.
Nice.
And I like him even more now.
Maybe he'll get us some tree. I love when
some tree.
I like when the drug dealer's like, on some tree? Want some tree, dog?
Yes.
I mean, like, what?
When we went to Florida a few months ago, and they had the medical marijuana dispensaries, you don't really even know they're there. It's not like people are walking up and down the street just smoking joints. And
dude, you literally went out. You moved me out to Washington State. First thing we do when we get there, we go check out a couple of the legal weed places.
Yeah, it's shout out Walla Walla Cannabis Company. We're still holding on to these.
We actually have our koozies are right here. We're using. I mean, our what are they called? The flat things that you put drinks on.
Coasters. Jesus.
Walla Walla Cannabis Company, the best pot in town. This was a neat little spot we hit up as soon as we got there, and we still have the coasters.
Because it's honestly, I've been to a couple dispensaries going to Colorado and back to Washington and stuff, and they're one of the neatest. But anyway, it's so just nonchalant.
Well, it's amazing being able to walk in and look at what you want. No, nobody gives a shit. You're able to go in, look for what you want, pay an obscene amount of taxes on it, and then go home and do what you want to do in the privacy of your own home.
It's a win-lose situation. It's a win for you and a lose for you at the same time because the government's pissing away your money.
All right, so medical marijuana getting to where it is in the state of Alabama, great. Then hopefully right behind it, Rex will push hard with some other guys. Let's legalize it completely. Let's get a few people out of prison. Let's quit spending all this tax money to keep them there. And then maybe eventually one day we'll come down from like 50 to 60% taxes on this shit. It's literally so high that in Washington State, you go in to buy, like, what's the price of this? Oh, no, that's the price. Whatever's posted is the price. If you come up to the register and we doubled your order, you would freak out. Cash business because it's federally legal still. It's great to go in, look, pick out what you want. Everybody still uses a fucking drug dealer because weed's too high because of the taxes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're going to continue to do that.
There's a reason the black market was started.
That's the same reason that people still make whiskey in the woods.
Well, that's become a rarer thing now because it's not economically beneficial. Right. Nostalgia is involved. Yes. Quality is involved. A difference in taste. But as far as making a living doing it, nobody's really doing that anymore.
No.
Well, I mean, there's company, but it's not like, it's not big business like it was.
No.
Speaking of, I just finished a podcast. If anybody gets a chance, In the Red Clay, talking about the Dixie Mafia in Georgia, talking about Billy Sunday Burt. Holy hell. Really interesting story. And, drugs and alcohol are a big part of it, naturally.
I'm only on episode 1, and man,
Tis good, especially to have some like LA pseudo hipster running the whole deal. I was like, all right, not a bad deal. I wish I would have thought to go or known about. Back off. Let me handle this. Let me talk this feller.
Yeah. Let me get. I know how to speak to him.
Yeah, we know. We got common tongue. All right. This week in Not a Sports Podcast, welcome to the SEC, Texas, you bitches. Lord have mercy. 21-40, Arkansas Razorbacks beat that ass.
The Razorbacks.
Oh, my goodness. Arkansas has consistently been the most mediocre team in the SEC. Always are. They're going to put up 7 to 10 wins. A 10-win season is huge for them a lot of the times.
Absolutely.
I actually like Arkansas. The state sucks. The team's cool. Started the game. I thought, man, Texas sucks. That's still true. However, Arkansas looks better than I thought.
Not as bad as I originally thought they were.
That kind of sucks. And then I thought, wait, when do we play Arkansas? Oh, Arkansas always plays Alabama so hard. Yeah. It's like LSU plays us harder than anybody. Auburn's going to throw the kitchen sink at us if they can. Arkansas might surprise you if you're not careful.
Yeah, Arkansas, for whatever reason, to me, has always been a little bit of a rivalry.
A little bit. No, it's not the Tennessee game. No, it's not the Iron Bowl.
No, but Arkansas matters.
It matters because they could beat us at any time.
Yeah.
We saw that with Alabama, Miami.
Yeah.
The U, where we play the scoreboard. And then I looked up the schedule. We play LSU and then probably some bullshit team, and then Arkansas right before the Iron Bowl, and we play Auburn. I was not excited to see that at all. I'm more worried about Arkansas than I am LSU this year because Coach Orgeron trying to catch some leg instead of coaching football, which fine by me. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, boo? You newly single, you on the market. I get it.
No judgment, brother.
You know what I mean? You still got a job to do, which is fine by me, because when Alabama stomps that ass, it makes it that much more special for me.
I really hope we do. I want to be LSU, of course, but I'm concerned about Arkansas. I walked in the other day. You were watching F1. I'm digging it. I've started pulling for Max Verstappen. Daniel Ricciardo won the Italian Grand Prix. You dig this?
I do. I absolutely dig it. Ricciardo's one of my absolute favorite drivers. He's just an all-around great dude. He doesn't bitch. He doesn't complain. He's just out there to do his job, have a good time, and he's one of the very few racers out there that you can tell he's just glad to be there. He's glad to have a good time. The rest of these guys are just not the rest of them. Some of them are too uptight. But
Ricciardo, is that Italian?
No, it may be. McLaren, who he drives for, actually went 1-2 with Lando Norris.
When you say 1-2, like McLaren was the cars that both were driving.
McLaren is the race team in the car, and they went first and second.
Oh, it's the race team as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Verstappen is a Honda driver in a Red Bull car.
No, well, Red Bull is the race team with a Honda powertrain.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's where Formula One gets so confusing, is that so the team will be Red Bull, the lead sponsor will be Aston Martin, and the powertrain will be Honda.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Like that. So but sometimes you get, like where it's Ferrari is a Ferrari and so on. Okay. But it does get confusing that way. And
either way, it's still badass whenever like the top two guys, which are Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, and they wreck the shit out of each other.
Oh, yeah. Take each other out of the race, and it's great. I mean, I kind of hate it for Max Verstappen because I really like the guy.
Why did City? He had an 11-second pit stop this week.
Yeah.
And they're known, like they are across the board.
Sub 2. 1.9, pretty well average. Red Bull's the team. I mean, they're badass. Yeah. You can't take that from them. And they had a hang up. He had an 11-second pit stop. I think that they were just going in for a good race in the corner. It didn't work out. They crashed, but they did penalize Max with a 3-spot grid penalty for Sochi next week.
Okay. That's Russia.
The mother Russia.
So he's going to start less than he probably would normally.
Yeah, so if he qualifies first, he'll start third.
Oh, okay. So not a big deal. Either way, he's fine. But it was incredible because they were fighting hard. Robin's racing,
baby.
That's what I say. And that's also what Dale says. And
raise hell.
And we praise do Dale. Raise hell, praise Dale.
Up in this house.
Yes, sir. Luckily, both are okay. Be a real shame if that tire would have come down and crushed Lewis Hamilton. Been a real shame. We'd hate to see that. He was able to get out and immediately start complaining about how screwed he was, and nobody gives him what he deserves.
Yeah, that seems to be pretty regular thing.
All right, moving on to the mail call. We've had some good feedback on last week's episode. Those of you that know us and the bullshit we carry on laughed along with us. Something we'd like to improve upon is including those that don't know the nomenclature as well. I got some great feedback from some friends of mine. One of them actually West Coast. She's a California total lib hippie. No, I'm kidding. But she does make some beautiful jewelry. Second sister. And shout out. Absolutely love it.
I love it.
Which, I'm a big turquoise guy.
I like it too.
I hate it. I
want some. I mean,
so she found some.
Can we get second sister? Can we get some jewelry?
I don't know. Her shit expensive, but it's good. It's just They say spendy out west. Spendy.
I mean, I figure this shout out's worth at least,
$250,000 minimum.
I mean, surely. I think.
So she sent me some pictures of her husband, like some of the jewelry that she makes for him, and Jesus, it's manly.
I love it.
I do too. Got her out there. That's second sister. Honestly, she was a great person to ask about this last episode because we're still getting feedback. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What do you like? What do you hate? And all that. And she was like, you know what? If it's okay, I'm going to be completely honest. That's why I came to you. We're Instagram friends, so what better? Who better to ask?
There you go.
So she told me that I like this, I like that. This made it a little bit hard to follow along with. I didn't really understand some of the things y'all were talking about with certain parts. And I thought, wow, this has been terrific feedback. She did a great job. It wasn't, man, you guys suck. It wasn't that. It's like, yeah, we know, but we need better to improve. Well, she was great with that part. So we talked about the fact that not everybody knows all these weird things we're saying. And what's 90 beans mean? That's mean this motherfucker cut 90 bushel beans an acre.
Yeah.
And that's up now.
We do get a little carried away.
We do.
We forget that everybody didn't grow up here and everybody didn't and hasn't dealt with it and hasn't necessarily had to deal with it. So it's not just your common everyday talk that goes around your town.
and we want to include everybody besides just like, the 15 or 20 people that listen around town. I told Kason about it and he called me later and was like, yeah, I've been thinking about this. Hell, I forget them damn city slickers out there. Probably never heard none of this. Don't know what we carrying on about. I do. I want to come back on. I want to talk about this. We love Kason. He's always got some good stories and stuff, but also he knows a ton about farming. He's doing a great job with it. We might, call him on his way home again sometime and hopefully have better audio quality because that drove me up the wall. Thank you so much for tolerating that. It is on the way. It will be fixed.
And that's one thing we can't say enough about. Like, Kason's done a very good job.
Yeah. He just finished up Monticello today, he told me. So they headed up to Arkansas. He's got about 2,200 acres of beans left. Man, and they're racing another hurricane, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
Texas is supposed to get one. And when they say Texas is going to break right and go to Louisiana because that shithole just begs for hurricane.
It's the decoy trailer park.
Yeah. Lord have mercy. So long story short, we're going to end up doing more farming stuff. And that's probably going to be a recurring theme, much like today's episode. We're talking about barbecue. That's going to be something we probably talk about several times.
We like farming and we love to eat. And barbecue is definitely one of the things that we like to cook it. We like to eat it. And we like to talk about it too.
We're talking Alabama barbecue today, but more specifically, we're going to talk North Alabama barbecue as kind of a starter. So nationally, Memphis, North Carolina, St. Louis, and Kansas City somehow, those two, whatever, and Texas, they get the publicity. Alabama is the unsung hero state of barbecue. Unfortunately, we as Alabamians can't even agree on what barbecue is.
The only thing that we can agree upon is that Alabama barbecue is a hodgepodge of barbecue.
First things first, do not invite a Southerner over for a barbecue when you mean a cookout. Hamburgers and hot dogs on a gas grill ain't a fucking barbecue. Elevate yourself.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's just cookout, man. No, we ain't barbecuing. Barbecuing is shit. Low and slow. You build a pit out of cinder blocks or...
Hell, you can buy one for $150 now, and that's fine. I'm not coming over to fire up the...
No.
Ooh, that propane. Propane cooks better than...
As close as I'll get to that is if you take your Weber grill and some...
Easy now.
No, you can do it. You can do it. You can take a Weber.
Absolutely. I've done it many times.
And, you can barbecue that way.
There's an art to it, and it's difficult.
It is difficult to do.
Using charcoal and wood chunks, but
if you're cooking hamburgers and hot dogs out behind your house, it's not a barbecue. Attention, everyone. This is not a barbecue.
You're at a grill out. You're at a cookout.
That's it.
Barbecue, in its most basic form, is slow smoked pig, chicken, or beef, occasionally turkey.
Yeah.
With seasoning, heavy seasoning, low temperatures for long durations. And that's to render fat and tenderize meat while adding that beautiful smoky flavor, which comes from your choice of most typically hardwood.
Right.
That's often territorial and very important to the style. Texas post oak barbecue. That's where brisket really got its name. That post oak, that medium plus flavor, good smoke, a little bit of spice, salt, pepper, very basic, good stuff. That's Central Texas. Then you get out towards the other skirts and shit everywhere else. But mesquite is a big thing. And now that's a whole different animal. That's strong, earthy, and it's got a bit of a kick to it. Alabama uses hickory wood almost exclusively. That's what we're known for. That's what we do. Hickory. What grows where you are is what you make barbecue with.
Right. What's right here relative to you. And that's what barbecue's all about.
Well, North Carolina, I mean, who knows? I mean, they put mustard in their barbecue sauce.
They might as well use a pile. They chop and chip it and put mustard in it. They might as well use a pile of leaves to cook the shit because I don't know what you're doing.
I can't.
Listen up. North Carolina, if you're listening.
Not going to do it.
Guys, come on.
I'm not going to do it.
Stop this.
I mean, and I've tried it. I've done it every time. Hell,
I have too.
Oh, God, I've tried it so many times.
We've been lucky enough to try barbecue all across the United States.
Hell yeah. I've even had West Coast barbecue. Didn't suck as much as North Carolina.
Oh, God.
Now, South Carolina's they do a different thing. I don't know as much about their barbecue, but they do a different thing.
Yeah, it is different than North Carolina.
Yeah.
But Kansas City is not.
We don't have time to get into all that today.
Ugh.
All I'll say is that I get it. Y'all doing your thing out there, and you got the competitions. They
do. They're
good for y'all. Do your thing. Hell, a lot of folks from the South win a lot of those competitions. I'm not a competition barbecue person.
What they need to do is call it a sauce competition.
The layman says fall off the bone good. You don't really want your meat falling off the bone because then it's almost too tender. You need a little bit of hold on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get it. That's what they're looking for to competition. But overall, what you wanted a competition, the prettiness and the green stuff you can't eat as the bed underneath the ribs. It's just
accoutrement.
It's not my thing. I don't care nothing about this.
No.
I want the nastiest human possible walking out greasy as shit, covered in creosote, and honestly, a nasty environment. That's where the better barbecue comes from.
That's what barbecue is to me. I grew up, you drive to this little hole in the wall that it doesn't even look like anything. You go inside.
Somebody rude as shit in there, typically sweaty ass old woman.
And not happy about anything at all.
Never has been. She's been married this old son of a bitch out back forever.
And he rolls out of the damn pit. What you want?
Yep.
And it's just,
y'all got any ribs ready? We got
like
ribs
two
ready.
options, maybe three. That's what barbecue is to me. Yeah. And it's not covered in a bunch of shit.
Yes.
It's seasoned well. It's cooked well. And it's got some good vinegar sauce tossed on top. And
I like a little wetness to my ribs. Let's think about Memphis. I don't like the solid dry. They straight dry. I don't like that as much.
Just straight up dry.
But I also don't. I don't need to go finding my ribs in a pile in like a stew.
Listen to me, Kansas. Quit putting ribs in tomato soup. Stop it. Thick.
You run into that up there?
Huh?
You run into that?
It's like all their ribs are just like covered.
Sloppy. Yeah, that's
covered
sticky, sloppy, caramelized sugar barbecue sauce. Yeah,
man, stop it. That's all.
You don't even need salt. You don't even need seasoning on your ribs when you do that. You just cover them in all this sugar and tomato sauce.
And they're tough. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't get it.
All right, so what is Alabama barbecue? We talked about the Tennessee Valley. Tennessee Valley is the area that runs on the very base of the Appalachians. Mm-hmm. So when they're coming through the eastern side of Georgia, or the north side of Georgia, and then over into the corner of Alabama, then you have the Tennessee Valley that runs naturally across the bottom of Tennessee, and then in our area,
cradled by the Tennessee River.
We're cradled.
Northern Alabama, cradled by the Tennessee River.
That's true too, but we are a part of the Appalachian Mountains.
Yes, absolutely.
So we do have a lot of hill folk around here. We did at one point. We got some Scots, got some Irish. We got a hodgepodge of folks. Barbecue come about because poor folk needed something to do with the poor pieces of meat.
Mm-hmm.
So your shit cuts of meat, your briskets, and your butts, things like that. Most typically, these aren't parts of the animal that you're doing the best stuff with. So you got to cook them for a long time, try to render it down, make it edible. Well, that used to be the case. Now everybody wants to make a brisket. So brisket's $80 at the grocery store instead of, nothing. So the Tennessee Valley barbecue, we are hands down known for white sauce. All thanks to Big Bob Gibson down in Decatur. And this started, way back when?
1925. It looks like Big Bob started with the white sauce. says we marinate with it, baste with it. Plus, we use it as an all-purpose table sauce.
And we do. And, we'll get into that in a minute, but that is a huge staple of Alabama, even across the state now.
Yeah.
Originally, it was North Alabama, and it is now across the state of Alabama. In our barbecue, we have to have white sauce.
We do.
We also pull our pork. Pulled pork is all right, so you smoke a butt. Well, shit, I guess I need to say what a butt is. All right, so you got a Boston butt. The reason they're called a Boston butt is because way back in Revolutionary times, butchers in Boston would use a barrel called butts to put these shoulders of a pig in. That became known as the Boston butt because they had these chunks of shoulder that they would throw in these butts, which was a barrel. It's a shoulder. It's not it's not pig ass. It's a shoulder.
The butt of a pig is actually the ham. So when you're eating ham sandwiches and stuff like that, that's when you're eating pig ass.
When you're eating barbecue, you eating shoulder more times than not. Well, we slather mustard, and by the way, mustard usually doesn't have much of a flavor when you're adding it at this portion of the cook. It is a binder.
I like to add it. I like to add it now.
Coat the entire thing in mustard, but I don't put it in my sauce, North Carolina. Coat the whole thing in mustard, and it binds your spices to the outside. And that's when we talk about outside meat, we're talking about the outside, like showing off the part that gets all the heat and the smoke and all that kind of stuff. The crust.
That's that good shit you get to pick off.
Good stuff. Well, there's only so much smoke that a piece of meat will take on. There's varying ideas of how much or how long and all that kind of stuff. More often than not, you're going to have a smoke ring and some things. You can see literally how far the smoke goes into the meat. In North Alabama, when we smoke a butt, we get it seasoned up on the outside, put it on the smoke, and we're going low and slow. And that means a couple of different things. Low temperature, slow cooking. It can mean physically low, a low pit that's not too high off the ground. Now, my daddy argues against that. We've always cooked a little bit higher than most folks. That's another little intricacy of your pit, how you do your thing.
What is the 4 block?
That's what's daddy's. 2 blocks usually about as high as people want to go around here, but you can't sprinkle fucking charcoal under there.
No, I kind of agree. I agree with him.
And not too. Charcoal. We're talking ashes out of the burn barrel of wood.
Right. When I worked at Big T's barbecue, I want to say our pits were actually 4 high.
Most are. It makes way more sense.
It makes life a lot easier. But there was a big push for that 2 block.
Oh yeah,
for a long time.
Somebody's doing one pit at a party. They think that's so badass and have it all dude,
that's a whole hog kind of deal.
Yeah, and I hate that shit.
Shit's crazy. That's just weird.
We've done that. Save that for another time.
Yeah,
usually you're gonna have about 4 center blocks high, a sheet of expanded metal, and then lay it across those. So you've made a U with your center blocks, expanded sheet of metal, and then another run of center blocks on top of that to hold the sheet of expanded metal down. And then that's where you cook it on top of. You got a burn barrel beside it, most typically hickory wood. And it burns down. What's underneath the bottom down there are your coals. And you sprinkle those underneath to keep a smooth, small little bit of heat inside this thing. So you're smoking from that.
You've got a smoldering fire up underneath.
You're not talking about match-lit wood. This ain't flame. Mesquite wood burns super hot. So you got to be careful smoking with mesquite because you got to channel it the right way and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think they smoke as long as we do.
Depends on the piece of meat. They don't do the pigs the way we do, but they do put a lot of time into their briskets. The middle of the state, they're fairly similar for the biggest part. They're much more into ribs, which is fine, and I love ribs. I'm a big rib fan.
I do,
but myself. they get much more into the ribs, which is where we're known for our chicken and white sauce, and then pulled pork. They still have pulled pork for the biggest part, but they're big into pickles. They want to throw pickles on top of everything, and then making sure the ribs are done a certain way.
And a little thicker sauce.
God darn it, the sauce. So that they get, and I love thick red sauce to dip French fries in or whatever.
Right.
It's basically ketchup. It's just not barbecue sauce. The exceptions to the rule, kind of Tuscaloosa's doing its own thing. We got several different factions of barbecue all in one area. I love it. And I've got my favorites, and so do other people. Then you get on down the road. Montgomery area, god darn, that's where the government is. That's a shit town. They don't.
Yeah,
they start chipping and chopping it down there.
Just set the cruise control and keep on driving.
Exactly, because on the way to the beach, you get down to the south side, from when you get past Montgomery and get back into the rural area a little bit. There's a few roadside stands, a few places ain't bad.
Yep.
On the way to the beach, on the way to Mobile, they've got a few places you can find a few good spots, but it's a big mixture down there. It's very mixed up.
Oh, it's definitely a hodgepodge there.
You got a couple different good spots. Nothing to write home about. Then you got, it's still chopped and chipped down there. Sometimes I don't even know how that stuff came to be.
Right in the center part of the state, I guess you just got a bunch of Yankees that ran out of gas on their way to Florida.
That's a good point. Snowbirds.
Right. Snowbirds headed down. You know what, Bob? I think we should cook some barbecue and just put up roots right here.
This looks like a good spot.
We'll teach these Southerners what real barbecue is, and we'll chop it and
fucking
chip
clutch
it
and push this thing to the side of the road over here. We're gonna smoke some meats, and then we're gonna sell this stuff. They don't need no frickin' sweet tea.
We're gonna tell these dead young Southerners what they need. They need some chopped and chipped. They need some iced tea and this damn sugar in it.
Ugh. That's a huge argument I've been in many times. I'm not advocating for the amount of sugar we put in ours. All I'm saying is let's calm down with the judgment. There's sugar in fucking everything in the American diet. We sprinkle sugar on top of fucking salad, and you're worried about a little bit going into our tea.
Yeah, quit fucking with my tea, okay? Stop it.
Hell, I don't even drink the shit as much as I used
either.
to.
I don't really even.
But I don't need to hear you. I don't need to hear you lip about it.
Yeah, don't. You quit putting sugar in tea.
Oh my God, you've had sugar in your tea.
You put a bunch of sugar in your fucking coffee.
She says as she slurps down this Coca-Cola. Lord have mercy. In North Alabama, we're most known for white sauce.
Yep. Listen closely. White sauce, not ranch.
Not ranch.
Not ranch.
White sauce. Big Bob Gibson came up with this back in the Depression rage as something to put on his chicken because it made it incredible. And it makes everything incredible. And I get that you basic ass mofos like ranch. Hell, I eat a little bit of ranch.
Nothing wrong with ranch, but this ain't fucking ranch.
It ain't ranch. You got, but the basic premise of white sauce is mayonnaise, vinegar, and spices. Mm-hmm. That's your basic premise. You got white and apple cider vinegar, and you need a good mixture of both of those, I think.
Big Bob Gibson's recipe is a cup of mayonnaise, third of cup apple cider vinegar, 3 teaspoons water, 1 teaspoon Worcestershire sauce, half tablespoon kosher salt, half teaspoon garlic powder, half teaspoon onion powder, half teaspoon freshly ground black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon hot sauce.
And that's what the internet says. And no doubt that's pretty close.
But I bet that ain't the real one.
It ain't the real one, but I've made it a dozen times or more. Like, I love it. It's great on everything. All right, so you got your basic principles. Now, how thick do you make it? You got to be careful here now because you can't have. We're not talking about congealed salad.
No,
we're not talking about thick
Once again,
ranch.
This ain't ranch.
It ain't ranch. I mean, but we're also not talking about thin, runny barbecue.
Yeah,
sauce.
We're not talking about vinegar sauce.
It's got to stick to the chicken. That's one of my rules. Like, if you go to part on a chicken, it's got to. Some of it's got to stay on there. It can't flood the plate and run all the way off with beads on a fucking Rain-X windshield. I like a good mix of white and apple cider vinegar, personally. Less white vinegar.
Yep. I like it tangy.
And I like it tangy. I want spice, and I want good, chunky black peppercorn. Fresh cut black. I love that.
Yep, me too.
Sticks to the chicken, holds on there, and then you can squirt it on everything out of like the little shake bottles or whatever. We're in agreement. We honestly, we're not going to argue much about this. Like, that's very...
That is the Alabama staple. I think most people would agree with you on that. Yeah. I've actually got a funny story about some Yankees and white sauce.
Oh.
They're reps. They're sales reps for Kloss.
Oh.
And they're
American?
They are American, yes. I want to say from Ohio.
Ugh.
One was from Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to make fun of Ohio for getting their ass beat.
Yes. Oh, man, that makes me so
had some
happy.
rude prick come into the cigar shop and was like, yeah, I guess not everybody can play Mercer. I was like, your entire schedule is Mercer. Calm down.
Season's over.
Sucks to suck, bro. Anyway, so you got reps in from
I got Yankees from all across the state. They're sales reps. This is one of their first time. This is their first time in North Alabama. It's right when they get us set up as a dealership. And we take them to 306 Barbecue because they're looking for real good local barbecue. These guys say they search it out. So we take them down to 306. Adam and I are sitting there, and of course there's white sauce on the table, hot barbecue sauce, and mild barbecue sauce, like it should be. Adam and I pick up white sauce and start pretty well slathering.
Drenching everything on the plate.
Everything.
Yep.
And one of the Yankees is like, you boys sure are about your ranch down here. What? No, man,
Ranch.
This is white sauce. He was like, what are you talking about, white sauce? Well, white sauce. Everybody else calls that ranch. No, hang on now. This is
Shut up,
not
Nigel.
ranch.
Yeah.
Shut up, Nigel. But so we had to explain to him what white sauce was and convince him to put it on.
Try it, you son of a bitch. You might like
Just
it.
fucking try it.
God damn, he's worse than Matthew. We got a buddy. It's like, I swear. It's like, well, this ain't chicken fingers, so I don't think I can eat it. Chicken fingers, ketchup, hot dogs.
And if he steps out real hard, he'll get some popcorn chicken. But yeah, so the Yankees were just absolutely taken back by the white sauce, and we convinced them to try it. And now,
shocker,
they are absolutely infatuated with it, and we have to go eat at 306.
I mean, the shit's good,
and get the white sauce and get everything every time they come. It's just a thing now, and it's great. So,
speaking of 306, just like every other barbecue joint in Alabama, we use hickory wood.
Yep.
So hickory is our staple. A big part of what kind of flavoring goes towards your barbecue has to do with your geography, your location. Like I said, Texas uses post oak, mesquite, some hickory. Our staple is without a doubt hickory wood. We use hardwood that makes the best smoke. You can't use direct heat. You just need the coals that are shimmering and the smoke coming off of it. I love hickory smoked barbecue. Don't get me wrong. Personally, just to change it up a little, when I'm smoking my ribs, when I'm smoking my meats, smoking these meats, I like to use a little bit different stuff just because we are so used to hickory. Ribs, I like a little bit of cherry wood, a little bit softer, a little less intensity. On my butts, I've started using a good little concoction of hickory and pecan, maybe a little sprinkle of apple. Ooh. I like that because it's not as intense. It tones down. The hickory can be overbearing sometimes.
Hickory can be intense.
And now I don't.
You can mess around and put way too much hickory smoke in your
if you're putting
barbecue.
Hickory smoke in everything you do.
Yeah.
We get it. You got a smoker. I'm eating at your house and I'm eating hickory smoked cheese dip, hickory smoked applesauce, hickory smoked this. Is like
everything don't have to be off the smoker.
Seriously.
And let me tell you, let me say this right now. Pay attention. If you put liquid smoke on barbecue, you are not an aristocrat. Damn. You will never be an aristocrat. There's something bad wrong that's happened in your life.
I wasn't even going to bring that up, bud.
Jesus, now I'm mad. I'm upset.
You're going to run the whole fucking show.
Upset.
Now.
I'm upset. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Here I was sitting here talking about barbecue, having a good time, and then you start talking about liquid smoke.
See, I knew I'd get there. I knew I'd get.
What a shame.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Let us get off that liquid smoke. It just puts everybody in a bad mood.
I've tasted it before. I'm talking about putting me in a bad mood. Oof.
Never had heartburn like that in my life.
Oh.
Do not put chemicals on your meat.
So we talked about a Boston butt before. What is a butt? Cheap cut. And that's what barbecue is. But the reason we started using barbecue in this house because these are cheaper cuts of meat. They're easier to come by. We can afford these. They feed more people. We started using barbecue back I'm talking after the Indian Wars.
Right. It was
as a staple for independence parties.
Yes.
So I mean, like, we've been free for less than 100 years from the redcoats, and we're already cooking barbecue down here, feeding a lot of people at these parties.
Absolutely.
I love that part of history. I think it's fantastic.
Yes.
We've been doing it a long time. Now you go out, Piggly Wiggly, your Boston butts are a little too expensive. They're affordable still, but they're a little too expensive.
Way more expensive than it should
be. And brisket. I mean, not that we're big brisket people, but we like to try whatever now and then we'll fuck it up. It'll be too dry. It ain't that good. Good on you, Texas. Y'all can have your damn brisket.
About twice a year, we'll like to fuck up a brisket.
I
real
do.
Good.
I like to mess one up. I don't give a shit. I'm going to do it again. And we're going to sit around and talk about how, like, well, next time I'm going to try this. Next time I'm going to try this.
That's half the fun.
If you don't know how to smoke a Boston butt, if you don't know how to smoke a shoulder, you should not be allowed.
You got to graduate. There's levels. You can't just start at the top, man. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Talking about our sauce. How do we, as North Alabamians, like our sauce? Runny, vinegar, spice. Pretty common.
Yep.
I want a little bit of thick red every now and then. And thick red to us isn't sunny, sweet. What's that shit?
Sweet baby rays.
Sweet baby rays. I like sweet baby rays to dip French fries in. I don't want it on my barbecue.
Yeah, sweet red sauce to us is more for dipping.
Yeah, and you don't really like that kind of barbecue sauce anyway.
No,
I don't.
I don't.
I do, and I like it. I mean, like
Oh, you're a sauce guy.
I'm a sauce guy. Food is a way to get condiments into me.
Yeah. Just regular food is just a vehicle for
absolutely
sauces to your mouth,
and I love it. I like thick red sauce. I like tomato-based sauces. I like all that. It's not barbecue sauce. It is a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
BBQ sauce is vinegar-based.
Right.
Peppery, runny.
Exactly.
Hell, some of it's thinner than water.
It is. It gets very thin. Wits gets very thin.
And I love it. Anyway, moving on. Chipped and chopped. Back to this again. Mid-state, they'll start slicing the damn barbecue. And then when you get farther south, it's still the same thing. They'll do it even more. And I swear to God, it's like, well, you know what? We bought this fucking meat slicer. Let's just use it to chop up this thing that we bought here. And I don't... Are you dicing up your barbecue meat?
Yeah. We just, somewhere along the way, people got lost, got lazy. They didn't want to get their hands dirty. It was too hot.
Pulled pork. You pull a butt off, you let it rest for a couple hours to calm down, wrap typically, hold the steam, the heat, all that in, unwrap it, and then you go to tearing it apart.
Yeah, just reach in there and grab it and rip it apart.
You don't need to put it on a fucking machine to slice.
You don't need utensils. You don't need a knife. You don't need a fork. You don't need a machine. You slide some rubber gloves on to save your hands from being blistered because it's so hot.
Melted.
And you rip it apart. That's just the way barbecue's supposed to be. Don't chop and chip it. Why are you doing that?
Well, Bob, we bought this slicing machine, cut the ham over here. We might as well use it to chop up
So the moisture's gone, the flavor's gone, the season's gone.
As soon as they pull it off the
We've just got we've got a pile of dry ass meat that you can pour this thick red tomato sauce on.
Well, that's a good point.
And hopefully get through it.
How big of a deal are sides to you at a barbecue restaurant?
It's a big deal.
Absolutely.
To me.
All right. I mean, 1 and 2, you got to have good potato salad.
Yes.
What's number 2?
Baked beans.
Hands down. If you can't do those 2 staples, you don't need a big barbecue joint.
Nope.
Mac and cheese is slid in there a little bit. Actually, a lot of bit. Mac and cheese is
it's becoming a lot more and more.
Well, that's another thing. The loaded baked potato. We hadn't really mentioned that, but like everybody got to have loaded baked potato. That's kind of an Alabama. I don't know if that's an Alabama thing. It's just very much everybody got them.
I think that may be an Alabama
thing. May be.
A loaded baked potato filled with barbecue and cheese and white sauce and
sour cream, chives.
Very popular thing in this area.
And it's a good change up. It's like, I'm not in the mood for a sandwich.
It works.
Hell yeah, it works. Back to sides. You got potato salad. You got baked beans. Potato salad, I know it ain't easy to make a potato salad.
No.
But you can't be buying this shit out of a bucket and calling it yours.
Which I get it. You want to focus on your meat, but
and it's hard. It's a lot of work.
Their meat's really not even that good anymore.
And cutting potatoes and all that, cooking potatoes, slicing potatoes, peeling potatoes, that's a lot of work.
But you're sacrificing so much, in my opinion.
All right. Secondly, I don't really see, other than the ease of turning a can opener, it's gotten too easy now. Like, nobody make good baked beans.
You can turn the can opener on beans, but it's not that hard to season them. Just season them a little bit.
Throw some barbecue sauce in there.
Little salt, little pepper, couple ham hocks. That's
like too. That costs too much now. Nobody wants to do that. You don't even find any meat in there.
But not at a barbecue restaurant. It's there. They've got shit that they cut off the meat that they can easily throw in the beans and make them taste a little bit better and not seem like it came out of a can.
Yes, sir.
Whether it did or not.
Collards are good to be. I like greens. I like a green as a choice. Now, I love what we do in the South to vegetables. Don't get me wrong. I don't have to have as much sugar as we put on them sometimes. I can be honest with you.
I don't at all.
Collards and green beans, they don't have to have that damn much sugar put on them.
I think that's why I'm not that much of a green bean fan, is that most people wind up putting way too much brown sugar, and it's just too much. I don't need sweetness in my food. I'm not that big on it at all.
And we've got to the point now where that consumes barbecue.
Yeah.
So you got it on, your sauce is sweet. Your glaze is sweet. Hell, your baked beans is sweet. Your green beans is sweet. Everything is sweet. Hell, it's like, you want a banana pudding? God damn, I don't have too much sweet.
Stop serving sweet cornbread with your Stop putting sugar in cornbread.
Lord help.
People, please, come on. We're not even at that part in the show, and I am already upset about.
I'm with you. A little bit in your sauce is one thing. Because it caramelizes, it glazes, that'll be fine. But damn, I don't need this much sugar in my the entire meal.
If the meat has sugar and the collard greens have sugar,
you got any room for banana pudding?
And all this, and every side has, and everything's just full of sugar. That's just too much. I can't do it.
Well, that brings us to banana pudding. You got to have it.
You got to have it.
If you don't want to have banana pudding, you basically don't have sweet tea. You're not a barbecue restaurant.
Right.
Serve warm. A good mix of pudding and banana chunks. Light to medium on cinnamon. Now, you and we're not big cinnamon people. I like a little bit. I want a little bit in mine. If that's all I could take, like if it's crunchy from cinnamon, I'm off.
Nope.
Now, meringue or no meringue?
Calf slobber has no place. It doesn't have a place for me anyway. I don't understand it.
We're talking about frappéd eggs.
It's a tasteless foam that, for whatever reason, we feel the need to pile 4 inches on top of desserts.
I don't understand why.
Where did that come from? In the South, we were always we were always told that things came from. You didn't have that much. We just had so damn much eggs and sugar that we needed to whip it together and make this foam.
I don't get it. I don't understand why. It don't make anything better. There is one thing that I like about this. Granny's daddy, which has been Paul, my great granddaddy, told me, "Do you know why my hand reminds me of pie?" Because of meringue. Yeah, not bad, right? I fucking hate meringue, and I don't want it on anything.
It doesn't have a place in the world.
You bring it out to me on chocolate pie, I'm going to scrape the entire level off, and that's always where it's the biggest.
I know. Why do we have to have 4 inches of it? Why?
All right, so banana pudding, it's just a top layer. It'll look disgusting if we bring it out normal without this slop on top.
Yeah.
Like you said, in our history, in our let's get by with what we have, did we have extra egg whites and fucking sugar to whip up to put this disgusting pile on top? I don't get it.
I've never understood it. I will continue to not understand it because it makes me gag.
You gag. I don't quite gag. I don't like it. I don't want it. But I'm also weird. I like cold Naner pudding.
I do too.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. I'm serious.
My mother makes 2 banana puddings whenever we're having a holiday or something, so that she can make one cold before we go, and then I have one out of the refrigerator, and everybody else gets one hot out of the oven.
Absolutely. I like it cold.
Or if she's being a little bit bitchy and passive aggressive or whatever, then she's like, you can just wait till tomorrow when we pull it out of the fridge.
Yeah, you can wait till I put this one in the refrigerator and it cools down.
But I like it cold. I get it. It's better fresh out of the oven or whatever. I want it 2 days old out of the refrigerator.
I don't think so.
It's melded together. Yeah. The flavors they've done their thing.
It's congealed together.
It's congealed. It's got a little color. Now it's darker. It's starting to turn. And that's where your sugar comes from. And that's where you want sugar. And that's another thing, too. Talking about sauces. You know, I'm a sauce person.
Sauce guy.
I don't think that there's a need for 19 different sauces at your barbecue restaurant.
No. Barbecue is the one thing that doesn't need 47 sauces.
I like to have a couple choices, and I like spicy. So I like having a hot one.
Yeah, me too.
But you also got to have your regular mild, and then if you need a thick red, hell, even if you want to call that your sweet one, that's fine. We don't need barbecue raspberry spicy habanero and jalapeno mixture. The other day, seriously, she brought a separate tray with all these different sauces. She couldn't even remember which one was which to tell us what to try. And I'm going to try them all every time.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It just gets overwhelming.
Absolutely.
And the menu gets too complicated, and it's just kind of ridiculous. So focus on a couple of decent sauces, maybe a hot and a mild, and then like a naked or something, or I don't know.
Thick, whatever you want to do.
Whatever.
I forgot to mention to you, just to make you gag real quick, really runny Naner Puddin.
That's, man, look, what the fuck is the need for banana soup in life?
Woof.
Why? I mean, man, I've got relatives that just think that you're supposed to just puree the shit out of everything.
Hell, your wife she was bitching about it being too Chucky Sunday.
Yeah, she wants banana pudding without any bananas, and that's
true.
Weird,
she wants pudding.
She wants pudding.
She wants pudding
with a Niller wafer or two.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't understand. Like I've been served like hot banana soup a couple of times, and that just.
I can't. We're
gonna have to move on from that. I think if you have banana pudding and it will just hang on to a fork.
Yeah.
That's about perfect to me.
I concur.
Like if it will just hang on to a fork. If you can get you a scoop and it doesn't just flop off, it'll just hang up there. That's a perfect consistency.
I concur, Doctor. Now, lest we forget, coleslaw. Very important.
It is very important.
Cabbage, sugar, vinegar. That is what coleslaw is.
Yep.
Not this fucking overdone, all these colors and flavors and all this shit in here. It's cabbage, sugar, and vinegar. Ain't nobody make any better coleslaw than Witt's. And I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I love it. Very finely chopped cabbage.
Yes.
Sugar and vinegar.
It's the best.
It's delicious.
I love it. And even like when I did my short stint at Big T's barbecue, we just called vinegar slaw. We had purple cabbage. We had like
I'm okay with
vinegar, salt, pepper. It was good.
Yep.
It's strong.
Yep.
But Witt's is just a regular, green, white cabbage, whatever you want to call it. And it is the best.
It's the best.
I prefer it. I prefer it on the side and let me put it on my sandwich myself. But
sandwich.
I prefer it on the side. I got to put that shit on myself.
Because your bitch ass will literally begin to choke up if you have a damp. We're gonna, because it's ridiculous. You bring him a wet sandwich, he won't even eat the damn thing. You come out there with Wits, I'm talking about in the field working, show up. You don't get asked what you want. You get what the hell's brought to you. He'll turn down a sandwich because he's going to get sick looking at it because the bread's moist.
I mean, I won't necessarily turn it down if I'm that hungry because I've been in the cotton field before and that's all I've had to eat. But I kind of have to turn my head to the side, rake the soggy bread off. I can't do it.
It's ridiculous.
I'm having a tough
grown ass man sitting here right now having a hard time.
I can't. I can't.
Wet bread, soggy bread. Can't even do it. I don't know why
that's too much. We got.
I like it. She just run it.
Stop.
That's why I like a turkey sandwich at Witt's.
That's enough. Stop.
We've talked about Witt's a few times. In the 1950s and 60s, Floyd and Laura Witt smoked barbecue for neighbors and friends. She dreamed of a small building to sell barbecue and put the kids in college. Once Floyd perfected his pit and sauces, he decided to leave the masonry business and open their first store on Labor Day, 1966. Soon followed by more stores throughout North Alabama that are still operating today. How do you explain this to somebody who doesn't know what Witt's is? Witt's is a North Alabama staple in barbecue. It's nothing that you're like, oh my God, the greatest food. It's not Aaron Franklin. It's not this, story. Do you got to travel to go get this barbecue? It's always here, always good, always consistent, cheap, amazing food.
It's been the most consistent, best pulled pork sandwich that I have eaten my entire life. It's there every time. Like
to this day.
It's just there.
To this day. 2021. Great. You can go over there and get a pulled pork sandwich, their slaw, pickle, I guess, probably come on it, a little bit of mayonnaise, and a sweet tea. You'd leave it for less than $5 to this day.
Yeah, right now today.
And I'm not talking about the great. Isn't this something that's like, holy shit, this barbecue? It's just good. It's not otherworldly. It's just good.
But when it comes to a pulled pork sandwich, that baby right there hits hard every time.
I know you don't like the soggy bread stuff. Their turkey is very moist, always good, runny. But you're also, you're going to have a soggy ass sandwich.
You are.
Anytime there's a funeral around here, somebody shows up with Witt's.
Yeah.
Always.
Because
you can go by there and you can get a family pack. They got 3 different choices. How much meat, how many sandwich buns, and how much sweet heat barbecue chips do you want to go with it? And slaw. They got a real runny sauce that you can dump all over, vinegar as hell. And then they got a thick red one if you ask for it. But it's good. It's not some Sweet Baby Ray's thick. No. It's just thicker than their runny sauce.
Right. It's not a bad sauce. I've eaten it a few times. It's not my go-to, but I don't mind it anywhere near as bad as I do some of the more name brand stuff.
Rolls into Sunday's Q Crawl.
Had a great time.
Fucking A, man. That was fun.
God,
we were sitting around here trying to figure out where we're going to go. Well, it's Sunday in North Alabama. We're trying to find barbecue.
And that was hard.
That was harder than we thought it was going to be, but that's our only day off. So when we're off, we prepare for this.
Right.
So,
we just kind of have to do what we got to do.
Yeah. We in the few minutes of downtime that we have, we thought, you know what would be good? Let's start a podcast.
Yeah. Turns out when you kind of want to get out and adventure around on Sunday and get a lot of information for your podcast, in North Alabama, that's not a good time to do it.
Everything's closed. You know who wasn't closed? Jim and Nick's Barbecue. So Jim and Nick's is a barbecue place. All right. So founded in Birmingham in 1985, they have a commitment to going the extra mile in everything they do, from mastering the art of barbecue and traditional scratch-made trimmings to genuinely caring for the neighborhood. We're committed to quality and Southern goodness in everything we do. Holy fuck, this sucked.
They failed.
I don't like chain barbecue.
They failed.
I want the oldest, most decrepit, dirty. And they're none of this, which is fine. They're a chain. They got to do their thing. That's not what I want out of barbecue.
Nope.
The service was great. The lady was friendly, sweet as she could be. We had a good little time, got a few beers, incredibly overpriced, as a lot of barbecue is. Inside the menu, we looked around and said, let's try a little bit, the most we can.
Mm-hmm.
So we went with Mr. Jim's Combo Plate. Choose 2 or 3 smoked meats. 2 meats, $18.99, 3 meats, $20.99. For beef brisket, add 99 cents. For ribs, add $2.99. Who knew?
$3 I'll never get back.
Who knew that that's the most I'd ever be fucked out of $3 in my life?
Oh, my God. It's awful.
I mean, I went into this knowing, it's like, you know what? I already don't like chain barbecue. I'm not going to like this, so let's keep an open mind and not be a dickhead about it.
Kind of hard.
All right, so we got smoked wings in the beginning. Ordered dry, $9.49. So $9.50 for 6 wings. They were tender, smoky, good. Needs a little more seasoning. I could have handled a little more seasoning, but if for a mass crowd, good across the board. What kind of sauce did you say? We got a Morgan County white sauce. Said, okay, let's have that. So we got a buffalo, a barbecue, a couple others. Said, let's have them all. Let's try them all. So we got the Morgan County white sauce. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say this is too close to ranch.
Yep. Very thick.
Yikes.
Just a little bit too much.
I didn't eat hardly any of it. Jada loves ranch. Your wife, she ate the shit out of it. Whatever.
Loved it.
The buffalo sauce, it had to be from a jug.
I'm going to say it was 90% Frank's Red Hot.
They might have thrown
threw a little in with it.
Barbecue sauce, sweet, little bit of vinegar tossed in. Okay.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Wasn't anything to write home about. Wasn't anything terrible. The habanero sauce had a good flavor. It was spicy.
A little hot.
And it was smoky. I liked that. But at the same time, it was spicy enough that I couldn't taste the food we were eating. So it worked out great. And I used that the most.
Yeah.
So Mr. Jim's combo plate, we got regular barbecue pulled pork, ribs, smoked chicken with potato salad, baked beans, and we added mac and cheese on the side.
Yep.
For $20.99, we got the regular barbecue pulled pork. This was not good at all.
It was rough.
It was dressed with, it was a little bitty pile on the side, dressed with their regular barbecue sauce. So the sugar and a little bit of tomato stuff thrown on top. The fat wasn't rendered. The outside meat had very little seasoning, sweet sauce all over it. We didn't finish it. It was still a pile left there. I hated it.
Yeah, we showed up hungry and didn't finish it. You know, we ate the wings. They were good, but everything else, it was tough.
The smoked chicken. That came in it was in a little pile. So they brought it in a big dish plate with all the stuff on it and a few bowls of sides. Mm-hmm. The smoked chicken come in a pulled pile covered in white sauce, juicy, tender. Nothing wrong with that.
Chicken was fine.
The skin it wasn't too tough. It was fine.
Yeah, it was not bad.
Not much flavoring, but it was fine.
It was not like right home about it. Out of this world.
We ate it.
It was okay.
Yeah. The ribs. And I feel like I'm going to be exaggerating no matter what I say about these, but we literally left 2.5 ribs on the table. I have never had to pull this hard to tear meat away from a rib.
I eat half a rib.
Oh my God. I think there's still sinew stuck in my teeth. They weren't trimmed. They were not cooked at all long enough. They were tough. I couldn't believe it. Their glaze on it. They looked decent coming out. And then we picked them up. We're like, oh boy, what the hell? You can just tell.
It was almost like picking up a piece of country ham.
Oh man.
And ripping it off.
Yeah, except that tears easier. And you know who knows how to do that? Cracker Barrel.
Look, if we're ever comparing country ham and ribs together,
Lord,
that should be a red flag from.
I'm gonna have to move on, because I'm gonna get mad again. To be honest with you, because that was so bad that I couldn't.
Anyway,
I left these there. Potato salad. It looked like Belushi walking through the line, yes. And you know when he does the
mashed
potato thing. That's what their potato salad looked like. It was a perfectly scooped plop of chunky, cakey,
mealy,
room temperature. Mealy. God, it was mealy. Room temperature potato salad. And you know it comes from a big 5-gallon bucket or something. You could just taste. I hate
just
it.
Generic.
Baked beans. Okay.
Generic.
A little bit of smoke, a little bit of sweet, nothing going on. Wasn't offensive.
I think they threw a little bit of their barbecue in it just to
instead of just sugar, they threw their barbecue sauce in. Mm-hmm. There was like 3 strings of barbecue meat possibly in there. Not runny enough to like drain, but runny enough you could pour some of the sauce off.
Absolutely.
Mac and cheese was all right. Very creamy, milk heavy. When it got cold, it wasn't good, but at first, so when it came out warm, it was okay.
It resembled the macaroni and cheese that comes in a Hungry Man meal.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
A Hungry Man meal is like, it's when it's good and hot, it's not that bad. I can deal with it.
Quit looking for your channel, or you're going to not like this.
It was $1.99.
Yeah. If you don't stop flipping channels, you're going to miss out on the good part.
Right.
And it's going to be bad.
Exactly.
Well, fortunately, we made our way over to War Hogs Barbecue on East Huntsville, East Huntsville.
East Huntsville.
Towards Scottsboro. And honestly, they could have heated up in a microwave, and we probably would have given them stars.
Way better.
Because we were so shit, this franchise, Jim and Nick's, sucked.
Yep. But
and then after reading all the bullshit about how like we don't use microwaves and freezers and whatever the hell else Jim and Nick's publicizes, well, clearly you use a heat lamp.
Clearly you lied.
It tastes that way. To be fair, it was pretty good.
It was. I mean,
they had a smoked bologna sandwich.
So very high on my list.
Score.
Right off the top.
Love it. Now, we love smoked bologna.
Yes.
If you never had smoked bologna, you take a bologna log. Bologna don't come sliced thin like y'all thinking about.
Rag bologna.
Rag bologna come in a tube.
Alabama round steak.
And it's delicious.
That's the only
take
way.
the covering off. You take the
wax covering.
The wax covering off the outside, and you smoke that bastard and score it a little bit. Let it get down in there a little bit. A little bit of seasoning. They did it great. You weren't that big a fan of the lettuce.
No, I mean, I could just take a smoked bologna sandwich with just bologna, bread, maybe a little bit of like mayonnaise, something like that, and that suits me just fine.
You know, I agree with. I like the. It wasn't anything to write home about either. It was just the fact they had it was cool.
It stands out big time.
I liked that, but again, it was toast bread, lettuce, mayonnaise, tomato, and smoked bologna.
It's just
nothing wrong with that.
The lettuce is what threw me off a little bit because I don't know. I like a bologna and tomato sandwich. There's nothing wrong with that. So just the lettuce, just a little bit. I don't know. It just covered it up a little bit too much for me.
Okay.
Maybe they could have had a little more seasoning on the bologna. Maybe.
You know, I got it. Yes, could have been a little more seasoning on bologna. It was very reminiscent of like a lunch pail type lunch.
Yep.
The sandwich was.
Yep.
Which is great. So we got smoked bologna sandwich and then a rib basket.
Yep. Rib basket.
And 2 sides. So we had hash brown casserole.
Which was great.
It was, even though it wasn't. I like it a little crispier personally. Display was a little bit lacking. I'm not, it comes in a little plastic cup.
Yeah,
crammed down in there. It's a little bit soggy. Shit, what was the other one we got? Is that a okra?
Hash brown casserole and
mac and cheese.
Yeah, macaroni and cheese and what else? I feel like we're missing one. Jody got banana pudding.
And we did order the apple cobbler, but they gave us 2 banana puddings.
The peach cobbler.
Was it peach cobbler?
Yeah, peach cobbler.
Either way, the banana pudding was great. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Wow, that seriously was good. Other than that, thin. It wasn't a huge pile, but a thin layer. Calf slaughter.
Yeah, we were able to eat around it fairly easily.
Yeah.
So it was acceptable if there is such a thing.
Back to the ribs, though. When I picked them up, I missed it. Oh, thank God.
Oh no!
It wasn't. It was like the bone slipped out of the meat. It was the bone. I could hold the bone and then slide the meat off, and it was fantastic. I'm somebody that likes a little more seasoning on mine, but that's a personal thing. But they could have boiled these and brought them out to us, and I'd be like, well, they're better than Jim and Nick's, because that pile of shit I was so unhappy with.
We spent $65
without the tip.
Without tip at Jim and Nick's, and had a terrible meal. I mean,
service was good. She was sweet. The fucking food was awful.
I hate to poo-poo you, Jim and Nick, but y'all gonna have to come on now.
Boy,
if you're trying to represent Southern barbecue
in 38 locations, or some shit,
and do it in multiple locations in multiple states, y'all got to do better than you're doing, because this was rough.
And this isn't a COVID thing. This isn't a whatever. They weren't busy.
No,
they were just. It just wasn't good.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Sunday Q Crawl was a lot of fun. If you have anywhere else that you want us to check out, or you have some good ideas on that, send them our way. Insta, Facebook, Twitcher, we got them all. Hell, we building a brand here. You know what I mean? Leading into that, I hate to complain. You know I hate to complain.
Far be it for me to bitch.
Far be it for me.
Perish the thought.
Perish the thought.
Perish the thought.
But I turned onto your road today, headed here to record this very podcast with a completely different idea of what I wanted to not complain about. And I run into an old man with incredibly high white socks pedaling his Schwinn on the road, swerving lane to lane, whatever. It's a back road. I couldn't help but smile. I wasn't angry. I held it all together. I smiled. Honestly, I got tickled because it's a back road. It's, he lives not that far away, whatever. Calm down.
Perfectly admissible.
Perfectly admissible. I got tickled. Well, unfortunately, it made me remember less than a week ago when I was on Highway 72 headed towards Huntsville. To tell you what is not admissible are two dick stains running around on Highway 72, stopping 3 lanes of traffic because fucking Betty in her Honda Odyssey tops a hill and isn't paying attention. So she rockets this kid mobile up the hill, slams on the brakes, locks it down. I'm behind her. Of course, I'm playing on my phone too. And I almost put my Tahoe in the back of her Honda Odyssey. I don't even really know what the deal was. I think they decided, you know what would be cool if we rode up to Windmill and got like a bottle of Aristocrat vodka on our bicycles around 2:30, 3
Let's
o'clock.
take our $7,000 bicycles and ride to the liquor store and get us something to drink in our spandex. I like a bicycle as much as anybody. I actually own a couple myself. I own a vintage bicycle. I like to collect them. I think they're neat.
Humble brag.
But look, stay off the main road.
Highways aren't meant for you. Tim Wilson had a great bit about this years back. If you can't pedal 55, Nigel, get the fuck out of the highway. And I'm
seriously,
I absolutely agree. I was infuriated. And you know what? I could have killed somebody because of these dipshits. I mean, not because I was on the phone messing around, or, that wasn't it. It was them getting in the way that was the problem.
Yep. I'm all about you getting some exercise, man. That's all fine and good.
Yeah, I've heard of it. And
I'm not a huge fan myself, but if you want to go out and exercise, that's great. Get off the main
There's plenty
highway.
of places to be.
We live in a rural area.
Hell, we rural.
All of it rural as hell.
Yes, sir.
Get on the side
no
roads.
Excuse.
There are hundreds of miles of side roads for you to get on and ride your damn $7,000 bicycle that you don't have to cause an entire highway to back up.
Unreal.
On a Monday morning.
Unreal.
Unreal.
We've rambled on long enough. Tell somebody you know about this podcast. Go write us a review. Apple's review, Spotify's reviews. We know them everywhere. Take a minute. Go do that for us. Don't forget about Operation Barbecue Relief, OBR.org, and Public Pursuit.
Can I say something for just a second, sure. Raw? Everybody's here. Don't go away.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank our host and producer and all that.
Okay, what's happening?
Rambling Van over here. He does a wonderful job. If it wasn't for him, we would not get to do all this because I am definitely not smart enough to put it out there.
Are we about to make out, bro? I've never done this in 25 years.
But what I think we should do is if this episode gets enough likes and shares and on and on and on, all those good things, that we teach you to skateboard at least to the end of the driveway.
No, sir.
Yep. Nope. Skateboarding to the end of the driveway.
You.
Look, right now, I think if we get what do you say? What's your number? What's your number?
312 pounds. That's what my number is. 312.
Well, how many likes? How many likes and shares do we have to have for you to skateboard to the end of the driveway?
Dude, I'm gonna fall down and it might kill me.
No.
If I fall down, it might kill me.
No,
I'm unhealthy.
It'll be okay. It'll be fine.
You know what?
I promise.
Y'all share this enough to get us 500 sticks.
500.
We need to have that many shares, likes, comments, enough to get us 500 plus downloads. I will stand atop this skateboard for a minute.
We'll get
let you video it.
Yeah, we'll get you in the driveway.
You want to go to the end of the driveway?
We're going to the end of the driveway. We will make it happen.
Good
we can
God.
do it. I know we can do it.
No, I know I can do it. Oh my God. All right.
Like, share. I know y'all want to see this. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook so you can see the one and only Rambling Van ride to the end of my driveway on a skateboard. It will be phenomenal.
And thank you so much for following along. This has been the last episode of Alabama Aristocrats. I'm scared to death. This will be the very last episode of Alabama Aristocrats.
Absolutely not. No, we can definitely do this
without me. Yeah, you can do it without me.
No,
pay somebody to do this.
We're not going to do it without you. We're just, I can set it up in a hospital room.
There you go. I can do it. Yeah.
So y'all definitely chime in, like, share, because we all know we need to see you ride on a skateboard.
All right.
we know we need that.
All right. Yep. All right. Thanks
Love
for playing
y'all.
along.
Thank you.
The Aristocracy. We're the Alabama Aristocrats. Have a good weekend.
See ya.